Yeah,
for social justice.
Anyway, as long as you're not trying to remove it from circulation, you're okay.
I usually
We obviously wanted to put it from circulation.
You want to remove the government from circulation?
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good to see you.
Hello.
Okay. Right, I talked a little bit. And so Bart? Bert, okay, I'm bad with names. Good to see you. Oh, yeah,
We're about to start GA here in a minute. What? What? Oh, I heard my name. Did I hear my name? What did you say?
I said you're being omnipotent and omniscient.
Why do you say that?
Because you're recording everything.
The Eye of Sauron.
The eye of Becca. I've got eyes in the back of my head.
I am Ustream.
You are Ustream's nightmare is what you are.
Why, you just lose 2 more viewers?
I just lost 3 viewers.
Hopefully. And hopefully they got lives in the process.
Because they didn't have anybody great looking.
Do you have something to say to my viewers?
That's a good angle.
What do you want to say to my viewer? My 3 viewers.
Are they male or female?
I don't know.
Well, it's
Yes.
important for me to know the demographic.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, we can't start? What?
A block.
What? Do we know anything about McDonald's? Should we let them know right now? What? McDonald's? What about McDonald's?
What are you talking about?
I'm really confused. Hold on. Okay.
Candace seems to confuse people a lot.
I have no idea what's going on. We're going to start
I have no idea either.
7 minutes ago. Okay. It's not article, and because when I got here, everyone said they'd rather be outside.
We can go inside because then my Ustream viewers can hear better.
I have to shout if we're inside.
Yes.
It's preferable to me.
And to my viewers.
The comfort level is
Can we do a temperature check?
Temperature check inside.
How many people would like to go inside? How many people would like to stay outside? Okay.
you are hardcore.
Is there any way that we can come to bring you to a consensus about going inside?
Temperature check 53.
Wait, what's going on?
We don't know.
We're going to go inside? I don't understand the thing.
We don't know what you were talking about.
tried to block.
That's why I brought her back.
Okay. We still don't know what you were saying though.
I just want some free range red meat.
Okay. We're going inside.
We're going inside. Ah. Okay. Oh my God, it fits perfectly. I don't know, because we're dumb.
Whose bag is this? Who's outside?
He's probably looking for his bag.
Okay, everyone, Caroline Weasley is here and would like to film the meeting. Is there anyone who does not want to be on camera? What? We're not going to, can you turn the camera off while she's talking about McDonald's?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to remind everyone that Becca is Ustreaming as well. So I would just like to, being an old school, paranoid, old school, pre-internet leftist, just remind everyone that this is going immediately live to the internet. And don't speak for other don't mention people's first and last names together who aren't here, that kind of thing. Just being courteous of all of our friends who maybe don't want us to broadcast everything about their lives on the internet. Do we have, I'm Maria, I'm going to be your facilitator. I prefer to do facilitation and staff together, so there's less confusion. If that gets confusing, we can switch. I love having a timekeeper. Does anyone want to time keep?
I'll do that.
Thank you, Rob. And I need someone doing minutes. Minutes. Okay, we can't have minutes if no one's doing minutes. We'll all have to watch these screens. Thank you. Usually a problem with me doing minutes because minutes are usually way detailed, but
you know, I really actually liked the thing with the minutes where people used initials instead of names, like the first two letters of people's names.
I don't know what to call it, honestly.
Yeah.
Because,
Okay.
I mean, we're all one voice, so.
Yeah.
Kind of.
One slightly different.
Okay. Review basic process, especially since we have Caroline Weekly. We have several hand gestures. This twinkles up is I like it. Twinkles like this is I don't know what I think about it. Twinkles down is I don't like it. When we vote, we use our thumbs. So this is thumbs up. This is thumbs down. Thumbs down is not a block. This is a block. This means that I think this would be so damaging to the Occupy movement that I am willing to leave over it to, work through like consensus over it, but this is not tolerable. Let's see. Clarifying question. C. Point of process. This is when we think something is confusing about the meeting, like it's an announcement, it's an agenda item, are we out of order? Point of information means I have something that is relevant, that's information that needs to be communicated, which is different than C, which is I have a question which needs to be communicated. Am I forgetting any hand gestures?
There's a new one that I learned from Occupy Raleigh. If someone's going on too much, you can say, like, sort of wrap it up, or
Okay.
it's already been said, so you two hands. But I can't do it with both hands.
Yeah, we do. So this for wrap it up?
Yeah.
Okay. Because this tends to be yes. Okay. So do we have any agenda items? Our first one right now is about students coming to GA. Are there any other agenda items?
And I have to leave.
Okay, so why would we consider having Judith do her secret agenda item? Like out of order of working report and minutes? Okay. So why don't we just go ahead and do that, and then we'll do working group report backs, minutes, and other agenda items. And actually, if I can have you like Action? Okay. Thank you. So the agenda will then be review of previous minutes, which we haven't been doing. Do we even have the previous minutes? We have them? Okay. So agenda items to add to the agenda. I mean, pretty obviously demonstration is on it. What else? Agenda items?
Do we need to talk more about Sunday at all?
That's the
Planning? That's the what?
demo Sunday?
Oh, I didn't see that. Sorry.
Is this on the, maybe I missed it, writing with press release to present it on Sunday?
Okay. Press release. To present at it.
But that was what I understood would be consensus here.
Other agenda items. Okay. Working group report backs.
I guess I have one. If I'm not working group.
Okay. The Ron working group followed by the Bert working group.
I just wanted to mention that the letter to Robert Sansel was hand delivered to his secretary this afternoon. I hung around in case he had any questions. He apparently did not, because he told me he did not. I did speak to the assistant town manager at length. There were several errors that were made, that I made. I requested assistance on this because I'm not internet literate, and spoke to several people and received responses from several people, but none of them were able to assist me. As a result, there were a number of failures in terms of the email, and I will attempt to rectify that, especially Mark Klein-Smith. I got back a demon email or whatever it's called.
He is kind of demonic.
On that, and I did not have the immediate contact list on that either. Nevertheless, it was presented to him both electronically and in person, and the folks whom I was not able to contact because my typing skills were somewhat Neanderthalic, I will attempt to correct. And if anyone here can provide me with a media contact list, because I did miss some media, they're more than welcome to. So I was forced to rely on the help of a sympathetic librarian. But I let that be known at the GA and afterwards. And Candace, Matt, Gordon, and I worked on the body of the letter itself and made some adjustments. There was one that I missed, and I apologize to Ann for that. It wasn't substantive, but it would have made it more concise. So if anyone wants to see a copy of that, I have copies of it here.
Thank you, Ron. Bert?
This is a report back on behalf of our wonderful media working group who have modified our homepage to have a banner for a big announcement of the demo on Sunday. And they also made an additional note at the top that tells people when our GAs are being held, because a lot of people have been saying, well, what are y'all doing now that you're not meeting anymore? Because they don't see us and they don't think we're meeting. So thank you, Becca and Matt, for getting that taken care of.
Do
Do you want to do a report back from the environmental group? Do you want me to do it? Do you want to do it? So the Environmental Coalition Building Work Group, I don't know, change that name, but the Environmental Working Group, we had a meeting with, what's her name? Jane, who is a representative from 350.org on Monday at 11:30 at Med Delhi. We talked about a whole lot of different stuff. We went all over the map in our talks, but we really hammered home that we want to build a relationship with her and other environmental groups, and that Occupy is there if they ever need people on the ground, activists to do work. She gave us some advice on campaigns, and we talked about violence and nonviolence and a whole bunch of really cool stuff.
And along with that, there's going to be a teach-in on the 19th at the Y building on campus, where they're going to show people how to do environmental activism, and we will put that information out. I think it's on the events calendar, but if not, we'll make sure it is. Great. Thank you.
Any other working group report backs? Does someone other than me want to do the direct action working group report back, or am I up?
Sure, I'll do direct action. Direct action, last night we went to the town council meeting. We had 4 people in front with holding up signs, "We don't forget," with tape over their mouths. We also had canvas with additional signs that were not allowed to be where they were placed. We had they didn't really react to us too much. I saw some kind of interesting looks from the council members, and when the mayor saw you guys the first time, he kind of walked in and then looked and then walked back up and found someone I could not see. I did not know the person. I could not hear what they were saying, but he was obviously exceptionally displeased. I was a little observer, so I was trying to get and we had a really good meeting, kind of impromptu meeting afterwards, with a number of people that had shown up to speak. My first real experience with Vimala's daughter Manju from a customer experience, and I think your guy we need to start exploiting her as a resource because she's amazing.
Language is so funny,
what I mean, not what I say, please. But yeah, it was. I think we let people know that we are not going away. Actually,
So reporting on the
media went to Occupy Raleigh's 100 Days event on Sunday, and 2 people were arrested during the march, but overall it was a great day, and they were very proud and happy that we were there. And there are Ustream videos up, so if anybody wants to see the march, you can go up and see the videos. And Kevin took lots of pictures, so I think he posted. Did you send them to the listserv?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sent them to the listserv, so you can see pictures of that as well. And I was told by a lot of people from Raleigh that they are going to plan on coming on this Sunday for our demo, because we've been so supportive with them and going to a lot of their things. So they're going to come and support us as well.
Just a quick addition to the Direct Action Working Group report back, for those of you interested in what happened at the council meeting other than us being there. The council pretty much had been 5-4 about having an independent investigator. It had been perceived that council person Penny Rich was going to be the swing vote. By the time they were done meeting with their attorney, they were pretty much 7-2 against having an independent review. It seems that there's a perception that legal issues would keep it from being useful.
Wow.
Resistant pine, resistant sand. So the people who are with Squat Watch, which along with Jim Neal has really been pushing for the independent review.
What's the question one? Isn't there already an independent review going forward?
Okay.
So
the Chapel Hill Police Advisory Committee is volunteer, and they would like more information. And they are already spending more volunteer hours than they ever committed to spend doing this. So they have asked to have an independent investigator come in to ask questions and gather facts and be a fact finder. The council is disinclined to do that at this point, but they are voting on it on Monday. There's been an independent group, Jim Neal as well as SWAT Watch, who have really been pushing for the independent review.
So that's still going forward.
They are still pushing for an independent review. They were pretty distressed by this meeting because they felt like it was moving toward that, and now it's not.
Right. Okay.
So that was the meeting.
One of the points that I kept hearing raised over and over and over again was that the council was concerned that there was no way to compel people to testify. That they said there's no way we can make people testify. I'm just sitting here thinking, my God, I could probably come up with about 800 people just off the top of my head that would camp out for a week to be able to testify. I mean, my God,
And Liz, I can just see your arm behind Rob, and that's all.
Oh, I just wanted to let everyone know that in addition to being concerned about not being able to compel people to testify, Mayor Kleinschmidt seemed extremely concerned that even if we did choose to talk to the investigator, that we would inevitably lie.
Of course, yeah.
And he made that very plain about 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
Actually been shown to withhold information yet.
Wow.
Jeff and Bert.
During the course of the meeting, did the town attorney actually itemize what the legal problems were? Or was it just inference there were legal problems?
I'm going to make a clarification. The attorney did not. They had met in a closed session. Councilman Ward made a reference to the fact that North Carolina state law would not allow for things that CPAC was requesting. And there were other references made by council members to not being able to get subpoenas, not being able to get affidavits, not being able to compel people to speak. Concerns about there being civil or criminal suits brought after the investigation. Random things throughout the evening about that.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a number of legal issues.
I think what I'm going to do is right in my own regard. I used to be a lawyer, and I mean these random things you can't answer them if they're random. And so if they're actually saying they're not going to pursue the idea or don't pursue the idea for legal reasons, and they've got to produce those legal reasons. They can't just be their session may be closed, but they still have to produce something in public if they're producing legal reasons for not having an independent investigator. And as Rob says, you can take each one of the attorneys and nonsense. Who are we compelling to testify? Town council employees. That's who we're compelling to testify. The town manager can say so.
There's also an issue with compelling us, like people who were on the street, people who saw things, with compelling those people to testify as well. And the co-defendants from Yates really can't be compelled to testify while their case is still pending, and that's another reason they don't want to pay for an independent investigator at this time. Bert?
Since this has become an agenda item, I want to give the other side of this, because I feel like we are so wrapped up in our personal desire to see this thing go forward that I think the council made a wise decision. And the reason is that without having the legal authority to compel people to testify under oath where they can be cross-examined to make sure that they are saying what is true under penalty of perjury, anybody can say anything that they perceive as being the truth. Well, we all know that 5 people see the same incident and all 5 people have a different version of what happened. In my opinion, this is going to have to go to a suit. It's going to have to be in a legal action, either civil or criminal or both, where the information is brought out, people are put on the stand, and they're made to testify. Now, the mayor's comment, I didn't hear a comment about people lying under oath, but I say it can go both ways. It's not necessarily that anybody who was here or any witnesses might be the only people who are lying. The people whose jobs or reputations are at stake can also lie. So it cuts both ways. And I would prefer that rather, and this is just my opinion, I prefer that rather than us get all worked up about the fact that there's not going to be an independent investigation, so we come up with some ways that we can do things, and there's already a commentary going on the listserv about what can be done to get either a public citizens review, which asks questions, technically not legally, but exposes inconsistencies or inaccuracies in the manager's report, and that we go forward with that. And that I would also like to see if there's anyone here, and Jeff, you may be able to help us about what would be required for standing legal term to carry a suit forward for against the police force, for excessive force or for whatever it would be.
Do we want to add that to the agenda then?
It's fine with me.
Okay.
But, I mean, you're watching one of these.
Alternative case action, legal action. Okay. Are there any more working group report backs? Okay. Our first agenda item is Kate about students coming to GA.
So I guess I wanted to make this an agenda item because I wanted to kind of talk about how we might do our GA. I mean, I don't really want to change our GA. I'm just wondering if we can get as many people there as possible. Not so that it can be a functional GA for people to see like the actual process of Occupy. Because I guess I should explain what I want. I'm currently staying in this sustainability living and learning community, and we're going through a sustainability phase called justice systems. And I think it would be really prudent for some of the students to come down and talk to Occupy about their work with justice systems or fighting against justice systems and stuff like that, and economic justice and social justice and stuff like that. It kind of functions into justice systems as a whole. So we have these things called dinner discussions where we pick a topic, we get people to read some stuff, and then we talk about it over dinner. And so I propose the idea that we come down to GA at 6 o'clock, attend GA, and then go to Vimla's as the student group, and then talk about it at Vimla's. Because I think we should pay her some respect, because she supported not only our living and learning community, but she's also supported Occupy quite a lot. So if we got 15 or 20 students to go dine there, it's some good business. So I guess what I want to discuss is anybody, like this is going to be, I hope it's going to be a group of 15 to 20 students. How do we want to do this? Do we want to like have them kind of as like a watch group, like watching what we're doing, or do we want to include them in the GA? Do we want to, does anybody have any thoughts on this?
And this is February 28th?
Yes, it's going to be February 28th. It was going to be the 21st, but I heard that is a very busy day for Occupy. Yes?
I don't see any reason why these people should not be participating.
Yeah, okay, cool. I like that. I guess my other question was, do we want to have a section of the GA where they're allowed to pose any questions to us they might have? Because I'm trying to get them to come up with questions like, do we want to have that on the agenda for the 28th, or do we want to just let them participate?
That seems like it would get chaotic.
Yeah.
Can I take off my facilitation hat, put myself on staff, and then Carol? What if we did our small group visioning and broke into small groups and had them break into groups with us, and then they could ask us questions within those groups?
Nice. I like it.
Okay. Carol?
Well, I was just wondering if was the dinner to be with occupiers, or was it just students?
I mean, I think it would be really cool if you guys come too. I would have to talk with Bert, like the sustainability, but I don't think that would be a problem. No.
I mean, that would be a good opportunity
to further discussion.
Further.
Yeah, okay, that's a good idea. Then let's open up the dinner to anybody who would like to come with us too.
When is it?
On the 28th of February. Dinner's probably going to be at 8 o'clock at the list. 7:30.
Seems to me it would be beneficial for this to be an exchange. If we're going to have a visioning, I mean, I'd like the opportunity to ask them.
Yeah, I've
too, as well as them asking us.
I've definitely told them that there's been kind of a question at Occupy meetings of why there's not more students. And I think this is a good way to kind of find out from the students why they're not participating. Because I know there's a whole lot of really liberal, really forward-thinking, really experimental thinking students in the SLLC. It's quite a funky group. So it would be really cool. If anybody was going to be down at Occupy, it would be people in sustainability.
What campus group again?
It's a sustainability living and learning community.
Living and learning.
And technically, they can't, as a community, they can't endorse Occupy because they're through the housing, residential housing, which is part of the actual student government. So they can't, as a community, endorse Occupy, but they can individually, like I am. I'm supporting Occupy by being here, attending GA and stuff like that. So that's just keeping that in mind. So just, I guess, be careful putting it up on the listserv or anything like that. Just say that they're coming down to observe and not coming down to endorse or anything like that, because we can get in trouble. Cool.
Can we keep announcing that, like maybe once a week at GA, so that we remember it's happening? Okay.
Definitely. Love to.
So we have demo and press release for demo as our next agenda items. Bert?
I got a very positive response from my MoveOn.org group. I've had at least 4 people who said, we're going to be there, so that's a good thing. And I think we should all be sure to send this out. If you don't have a flyer, email your friends, email in your groups. There is a Google Docs where you can indicate who you notified, but I wasn't able to get it to work, so maybe that's something we can
If anybody knows anything, I just use it and it never gives me problems. I don't know what the issue is with this, so maybe if you want to talk to, if anybody knows, has expertise at Google Docs, please talk to.
Do you have Gmail? Do you have Gmail?
I do.
Okay, and it wouldn't let you log in? Did you accept him?
I got to it, but I could not enter any information.
Oh, it's probably on private.
I can send you a copy of the letter, too. If you
Other people had edited it.
Oh.
So, I don't know what the issue is.
I just want to let people know where it's going.
What's the Google Doc for?
Huh?
Like where
It's
is
a
it?
link. It's just a link.
On the page? Or?
No, it's just a thing that we can use to list the
Right.
organizations that we
But
contacted.
how do I get to it?
Oh, I sent the link on the listserv. That way people aren't looking at what we're doing, it's just looking at things. And we can release it in the future.
Oh, and I'd like to reemphasize that I'd really love to see the space be completely covered in posters, leaflets, whatever, just
And bodies. And bodies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Should we have a poster
Do we
making?
have a signed poster making party?
Yeah.
And where do we want to do it if we want to do it? And who wants to spotlight it?
Thursday after GA. My appointment. Right down there.
Okay.
I don't have any money for materials though. I live right.
Cardboard.
Well, maybe somebody can ask the finance group for money for crafts.
Brian has a hand up.
I haven't put my hand up actually.
Can't hold the front.
Here's Peter has a ton of cardboard. And I'm sure that lots of the stuff, I know you guys have seen, like we could just bring together all the materials that we all have collectively, and then if there's anything that we need in addition to that, we can probably, so that way we don't have to ask for money.
Kate has a clarifying question.
I'm sorry, I just came in. What are we looking for?
We're talking about crafts materials to make signs at Josh's house after the GA on Thursday.
Okay, craft station.
Okay.
We should be able to get cardboard from Subway. I know Elena works there, and she's offered it before.
I've got tons of cardboard at my work.
Over to Harris Teeter.
Yeah.
Do you need sticks to hold attach the cardboard to?
Yes.
Do we need sticks? Because I know that right outside the Center for Dramatic Arts, there's this big bin of used wood they use for props and stuff. And there's like yard sticks in there.
Can you bring them to Thursday?
Yep. I should write that down.
I can bring some also. I got my route.
What about paint and markers?
Does anyone know what happened to the thing of markers we had?
It's at my shed.
Can you bring that?
Why don't we do it all day, like on Saturday instead of after GA on Thursday? Because after GA, I'm pretty tired and want to go home. If we have it on Saturday, I don't think anything's going on this Saturday. Is there? Is there any? I don't think there's any teach-ins or anything.
I propose that we do both because
Okay.
a lot of people here on Thursday, more people than are typically going to be here on Saturday.
Okay.
So I don't see any reason not to.
Yeah, we could also maybe pass out stuff. People could do it at home too. Could do that. If we have all the stuff here on Thursday.
Occupy home.
What I'm hearing is that after the GA on Thursday, people who want to should bring craft items for making signs to Josh's. That on Saturday, Becca is going to bottom line some kind of craft like activity, and that people could do this in their homes as well.
Okay.
Okay. Brian?
Sounds great.
Thanks, Brian.
Just a question about the notes here. Do I want to leave the name out and say place to be disclosed on listserv, and then meeting on Saturday as well to be disclosed on listserv?
I don't care.
Okay.
They can come to my house too if they'd like.
It should be announced on Thursday.
Okay, announced on Thursday.
Okay, anything else about the demonstration or demonstration press release?
So, it's my understanding we're going to have an open mic. Have we formally invited anybody that we don't normally get to roll with to speak? Because it seems like that would be one way to get people and people who go with those people there.
Open mic as in like speaking or music and other stuff too.
Open mic as we're speaking.
Speaking?
You get yelled at when you have music.
We're not permitted from this.
Like you can sing.
Yeah, there will be guitars, but
Can we have drums?
on stage.
Okay.
Should we have people bring drums?
The flyer says noisemakers.
Okay.
Drums make noise.
Okay.
So, yeah, it sounds like drums.
Yay.
Should we get a noise permit?
I thought you can't get permits on Sundays.
It's going to be Sunday.
Right.
That's the whole point of doing it on a Sunday.
Corporation either, so yeah, we're screwed.
And we're arsonists.
Or arsonists. Play on words.
Is the PA that we've been using from Weaver Street going to be adequate for this? Because I can...
Actually, were you checking with Gary Phillips at Weaver Street Realty about that, or was that someone else? Was that you, or was that Harry? Or who's
Someone suggested it, but I've been borrowing it from them.
Okay. I think that should be sufficient.
Okay. I want to make a note. So
I was always going to be working when you're doing this, unfortunately. I just want to mention something personally. If anybody wants to pick up on it, that's fine. I'm fully supportive of the demonstration. If I was there speaking, I would say I'd like to go further than the demonstration and actually demand of the town council that they instruct the police not to enforce any ordinances, and also to undertake a review of all the existing ordinances and revoke them. In other words, don't demonstrate, demand something, because there's absolutely no reason why people of all sorts of political hue at this time, in this town, should not join around this. This is basic right to speak and assemble, and we don't know. We have no clue how many of these ordinances have come in bit by bit because we're a developer-friendly town, and Occupy is actually focused on it, because basically Roger Stanton turned around and said, well, Occupy have gone, well, let's start enforcing these ordinances. Now it's a good time to say to people, did you know these existed? We want them gone. All of them. Every last one.
Evan?
Does anybody have access to printers and or paper and or ink that I can run off 200 copies of this flyer so I can put them around town?
Oh, we're flying tonight.
Oh, we're
good shot.
Never mind.
Anyone else? Carol.
I just want to say one thing about the city council and demonstrations. I found it very interesting, very telling that one of the council people said we need to be spending our time on thinking about how to handle protests and demonstrations. And they said that, yeah, it's not like back in the 60s when we protested. These are different times. So, you know, like, they really call for different measures. You know, we got to cancel this. Yeah.
Okay. So we had a question about speakers that we didn't answer. Would we like to reach out to specific speakers, or have people reached out to specific speakers? Candace?
I sent out a few emails to some groups that serve Latino communities in the area. I don't know if we'll hear anything back from them, but that's part of why I wanted the people to use the Google Docs so we can, you know, see who we invited and make sure that we're being active doing this. Has anybody here invited anybody yet? You have?
No, I'm waiting to see that. I mean, I think people have invited groups. Has anyone invited anyone specifically saying, please come speak?
I haven't invited any speakers. No, I've just invited a ton of people to come.
Do we want to invite specific people to speak? And if so, who? Josh?
The NAACP did specifically invite us for their event, right? For Martin Luther King Day. So it would be fitting for us to invite them to ours.
Who has that contact? Who has that contact?
How about Bert goes and then we ask that question?
Well,
sorry.
direct, yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, who has that contact? Anybody?
I have no idea.
Okay, so
Josh,
can I...
would you like to bottom line going on the listserv and finding out who has an NAACP contact and pursuing that?
Sure, I will do that.
Bert?
Point of information, Harry and Miriam both have a long-standing relationship with the NAACP and Reverend Campbell. So I think we can ask them. So,
Josh or Bert, would one of you bottom line talking to Harry and Miriam so this actually happens? Okay. Bert is going to bottom line that.
Somebody remind me.
Candace, can you send a reminder out to
What about someone from your 360? What about someone from the environmental?
Are there groups other than the NAACP that people can think of that we would like to approach directly to ask for a speaker? Carol?
The person that spoke here from the people of Faith Against the Death Penalty.
Steve Deere. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
I can ask him.
Becca, would you bottom line contacting Steve Deere?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else? Bert?
Maybe we can get a rep from the ACLU. They're very concerned about freedom of speech issues. I will contact them and see if they can send someone over here, and then we'll lay it on the line and find out.
See if they'll send a lawyer so they can ask some questions about ordinances on the ship.
Yeah.
Yes, a question. Is there anyone here from the outreach working group? Okay. My question is there any political, social, environmental, etc. etc., organization in the area which would disagree with the body of the letter to Roger Stansfield?
Any?
How would we know?
Any.
I don't know.
Because I would be in favor of reaching out to everyone who would agree with the body of the letter, regardless of political affiliation, liberal, conservative, leftist, rightist, whatever, and find out whether they would join us in some sort of ad hoc coalition to assert the civil rights and civil liberties that we used to take for granted.
I think that's kind of what we're doing with the demonstration.
Well, but we've mentioned the ACLU.
Well, then mention someone else.
Clarification. At the GA on Sunday, we said that anyone could take the invitation letter and send it to any group they wanted to. So you can send the invitation letter to any group that you want to. All of us can. We empowered ourselves to do that.
Well, I was trying to throw the ball into the court of outreach on this.
They're not here.
I'm really not in outreach.
Bert is here. You know, the Carolina Rifle Club would I think, agree with this. Any campus libertarians would agree with this. You know, the broader the coalition in specific regard to our freedoms of speech and of assembly, I think, are pretty all-encompassing.
Okay.
Bert?
On behalf of outreach, I think Brian had something to say.
Brian?
Go ahead.
On behalf of outreach working group, I will try to contact folks and see and get other people to do this too. And Ron, if anyone who has an idea about whom we should ask, let me know after this GA, because this needs to happen right away.
Yeah.
So maybe we
And it
can
shouldn't
get
just be outreach, though. It should be everybody.
Right.
Everybody needs to invite people, not just outreach. Yeah.
Brian?
So, I can speak to people that I know who have been hassled under the existing ordinances, because it's not that these ordinances weren't used for this. The exception is them not having been used on Occupy Chapel Road. So friends of mine who've been doing ecological, and animal rights-oriented protests have consistently been hassled about noise, about sign size. I'll try to get someone to speak from that group. I'm not currently connected to folks who pursue this, but I would be curious about people. Okay, you know that there's been the struggle in Carrboro about day laborers gathering on the corner of Jones Ferry. That's been ongoing. I feel like that's an interesting point of intersection for this. If anybody here is connected to people.
That's also Steve Deere. That's also him, yeah.
Bring that up with Steve Deere.
Yeah.
Because it would be great, again, not just to hear from big name activists, but from people who are, for a variety of reasons, targeted with these regulations. And then the last thing that I can think of that would be worth pursuing is not just along the lines of not just seeking out other activists. If there are people who have been hassled for being homeless in public, for example, and I know there are, it would also be good to have someone who can speak about that, about the way that these regulations affect people in that situation. Anybody feels equipped to pursue.
Becca, then Candace, then Jeff.
I think I want to ask Miriam to speak. Don't you think you'd like to hear what she has to say? So I'm going to ask her if she wants to speak, because I'd really like to hear what she has to say.
Candace, then Jeff, then Carol.
In terms of, are we just talking about people that we want to speak, or people that we've contacted, or places that
we are saying individual human beings who we would like to speak on the open mic because we would like to hear what they have to say, or we think it's important for the community to hear what they have to say on this.
Okay, I can probably then make a call to some of the organizations I already contacted via email, first to see if they got the letter and then to ask if they want to speak.
Jeff, thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to pick up on your point, Brian. I work here from the ACLU in Illinois. It gets boring. There are going to be a lot of people there, hopefully. Can you speak up a little bit? There are going to be a lot of people there who probably wonder sort of why they're there. And it would be really, really helpful to have people who have personal experience of what it means to have these ordinances imposed on them. So that these people from all of Ron's sorts of groups can go away and say, I had no idea. You know, this is a great opportunity for Occupy to say, we're not just doing this for ourselves, we're doing this for the community. There were members of the community on Monday, I read about them, who said, you know, Occupy this, Occupy that, Occupy lives, whatever. This is a great issue that Occupy is forging that involves everyone, and I bet they don't even know. So if any of your people say, what have I got to say? They've got a lot to say, because that's the sharp end. A lot of us don't know about it. Thank you.
Carol?
Okay, I'm thinking about David Mateo, who is pastor of United Iglesias. So his ministry is to the Hispanic community.
Can you speak to him directly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have heard endlessly that outreach is reaching out to the Quaker community in the Friends meeting. Is there anyone here from the Friends meeting? Or does anyone know who's been doing that outreach? Is that Harry and Steve? Could we get someone? I mean, this is our chance to reach out to all the churches that everyone says that they want to reach out to, and I can't believe I'm the one bringing this up. Okay. Thank you. Any other? Okay. Press release. I think the first question is who wants to pick it up? Wow.
Does the person who types it has to write it?
I figure anyone who's going to be bottom lining this is going to be charged with putting it out to a listserv for critiques. So honestly, I mean, even if you were to take like Candace's expanded letter and put that out there and say, hey, this is the press release, I guarantee you'll get people to jump on and do the majority of the writing for you.
I can help with that process, but I feel like because I know that there are going to be people that are going to make or want to make modifications and add content that I think this is another instance where Google Doc would work.
There are a lot of people on the listserv who really have trouble with technology and using Google Doc in particular.
Maybe like, yeah.
I was going to say, if I can bottom line starting getting something. I mean, do we want to start doing it here and now, and then?
I think we want to it's on the agenda press release to present, so I'm assuming we want to brainstorm our ideas of what would go in the press release so that someone can then put it together and put it out to the listserv.
Okay.
Wow, Jeff, that was quick.
Once we get past all the stuff about what's happening where, why, and when now, and the fact that it affects everybody, so everybody's invited, I would like to propose, and you can twinkle me down if you don't like it, I would like to propose that we specifically want the town council not to enforce any existing ordinances and to review the ordinances and revoke them.
Candace?
Did you get that down?
Oh. I was actually writing that down.
I had that effect on it. It's like hot chocolate and put you to sleep.
Wait, clarifying question.
Can I repeat that sentence?
That was a proposal. Hold on, wait, we need to repeat it for her because it's a proposal.
Hold on. This is another thing too, is when we're talking, we have to realize that everybody else in here knows me and wants to, and in fact, a lot of statements just kind of run together, so you can't tell who's said what.
Clarifying question.
Wait, we need to repeat the proposal.
It's a clarifying question, because they change everything. Your proposal was that they not enforce any ordinances. Yeah. Any town ordinances? No, any ordinances relating to... Any town ordinances restricting the right to speak and assemble on public spaces. And so the proposal is two things. First of all, that they immediately cease enforcing. It's a proposal that runs counter to what council is saying. We're saying no. We're meeting and we're going to demand that the council immediately stop enforcing any and all ordinances restricting free speech and assembly in public spaces, and then that it review those ordinances and revoke them.
The council would order the town manager not to have any staff enforce them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's a specific demand around which people can rally.
Okay, I no longer have clarifying questions since Bert has handled that. I have a comment. Am I on set? Is that good?
Yep.
Do you want me to wait, actually? Ken?
So you have a comment?
Yeah. I guess it's time now to figure out the center of gravity of what it is that we're trying to do on Sunday. And there may be multiple centers of gravity. Probably we can, like we usually do, navigate how to make that work. Certainly I don't want the town to be enforcing ordinances that obstruct freedom of speech. I can't imagine a politician campaigning on the platform that when some people ask them not to have ordinances enforced, that they stopped enforcing them. That seems like it kind of calls the whole function of politicians into question. But maybe that's only cognitive dissonance for me because I don't participate in all the other cognitive dissonance that it takes to believe in their system. Now,
I can help you with that.
The reason that I see, or the motivation that I have for thinking we should have a demonstration on Sunday is, above all, to set a precedent for public expression, for free public expression. That's something that's within our hands. What the politicians, what the police do is not within our hands. We can petition them, but above all, I would like to present them with a de facto done deal that they have to decide whether to oppose that under unfavorable conditions or to let it happen. That's the center of gravity for me, is to set precedents for public free expression that make it unfavorable for the politicians and the police to impose upon that. It's close to what you're saying, but it's a little bit different because it makes the center of gravity what we can do rather than what we ask them to do. And it doesn't necessarily obstruct them from doing the things that you're proposing. Indeed, we or some of us can ask them to do those things. But above all, I feel like our power to use our right to free expression is going to come from us and from our assertive actions. So I want to put that out there as a way of orienting what it is that we're doing on Sunday.
Ron and Rob.
I'm about to turn into a unicorn because I absolutely agree with Brian.
What's your cutie mark look like?
He is absolutely correct in terms of what our tactical response should be. Let us do it, and then let us stand behind what we've said here, which is that we require that the towns of Chapel and Carver also acknowledge the very First Amendment of our Constitution. Codes, regulations, laws, or punitive measures which are in violation of these inherent rights are by their nature unconstitutional. Let them defend it after we do what Brian suggested.
Rob, then me.
Okay.
Then Bert.
I was thirded, I guess, for everything Brian said there. Actually, going back to what Jeff said, I think I would be a little bit leery of using something like that as a press release. Kind of going back to what is the proper function of politicians? How is any politician going to say, going to be able to say that they to agree, okay, we're not going to enforce this. I mean, there will be the wailing and gnashing and outrage from this. I don't think that we can. I think we have to look at what we can legitimately expect out of a press release. I completely, 100% agree that should happen, but it is not. I want us to look at what's in terms of a press release and not people. We want to broaden this. We don't want to look at what a bunch of kooks. They want to get rid of all these. They want to get rid of all the laws and all. It'll be anarchy or arcany.
There will be arborists running loose all over the place. I think we need to be clear about what we're doing. We probably need to send a simple press release out to the actual press, like the demo letter that we've already sent out to the press, if it hasn't already been sent to all the press. This press release, am I right, is the longer thing. It's not really a press release. It's our statement at the demonstration. So it's not going to necessarily be in the form of a traditional press release, is it? Or is it something that we think we're going to be able to hand to the press as well? Becca, Brian, Rob.
Maybe.
Bert, Becca, Brian, Rob.
Damn, you beat me.
I like what Brian said, and I agree with it. And I think that wasn't that a press release we sent out earlier? And it was, well, the letter, or whatever got into the press, stated exactly that we were alarmed at the infringement that was being cited by the town manager who was going to infringe on our rights, and that's why we put that out. So I think we stated that, and we need to stick with that. And I see what Rob's saying, and I kind of agree with your take on it, because right now we want to be as inclusive as we can, and there's no reason we can't have our demo, and then on Monday night at the town council meeting, someone can petition the town council to do exactly what Jeff said.
Becca, then Brian, and Becca, then Brian, then David, then Jeff.
I was just going to say, why don't we take what we've written so far and sort of mush them together, and not into a press release, but sort of like we did at the emergency GA, where we just sort of wrote how we felt about it, and then we could read that on Sunday. Because we've already written a lot.
Brian, then David, then Jeff.
I was going to say something to that effect as well. Let's take the material that's been written about this, send it around the listserv. Hopefully on Thursday night can sense on some version of it that speaks for as many of us as possible. And on Sunday, I would propose that we have somebody from Occupy Chapel Hill read that as the opening event. And if we invite media, if media are there, they will be able to record that and see, and have that as a press release. So I'm making a concrete proposal about our process to arrive at that point.
David, then Jeff, and then was that an actual proposal?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, both of those points are essentially
proposal.
Along with that, just as an example, press release and whatever else, just that needs to be consented upon by the OccupyCH GA rather than the emergency GA.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as, that can be made as Occupy Chapel Hill's official statement at the event, that can be taken by the press.
Jeff and Carol, and then
try and repeating the proposal so we can vote.
Yeah, I've taken on board everything everyone said. And I think I was trying to do too much in one press release, but it's only because I can't be there. But you're absolutely right. Make it a very simple reason for holding this demo, which is that we are demonstrating what we should be able to do, what we were doing, and what we should be able to do, and everyone should be able to go and continue to do, but make it everyone. And then, you're right, my points are points of petition to the council. When the council turns around and says, what do you want? It's very simple. Revoke Stancil's memo saying he's going to enforce the ordinances, and then review the ordinances and get rid of them. But you're right, that's perhaps a step too far in the press release, but I keep pushing.
Carol, then the proposal.
Okay. Yeah, I think in the release, I think it would be very helpful to add all the instances that we know of where this has taken place, such as, give them examples of what's going on in this town and when, the types of things the police have done and where people's rights have been violated, such as the Hispanics in Carmel and over, what they're trying to do here.
To piggyback on that, at the same time, we can point out all the things that are routinely violated and ignored, like all of the sorority and frat kind of, like when they do a bar crawl, every time they do a bar crawl, that's in violation, and there's, not a single word said. But I think that we can fully flesh that out and make it incredibly apparent that these are being enforced across class and race lines.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Ryan's proposal.
You have a point of
Just a very quick point of process for
point of process.
Some folks are more aware of the law than I am. But are we currently in an illegal gathering?
Yes. Yes, we are.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
You don't have to count it. That's 6.
Yeah, we're illegal right now.
I just wanted that to be clarified.
He wanted those in the minutes.
Carol, then let's go back to the proposal.
This is the question.
Yeah.
Do we know how to research these ordinances? Where are the ordinances listed at?
Chapel Hill, townofchapelhill.org. You can Google the ordinances. You can go into their search forum. It was in Roger Stancil's email. And if you go into the listserv,
it's on the website.
It's on the website. I linked to it. You can find it multiple ways.
I actually put his memo, our GA, emergency GA consensus, and the invitation all in one post.
Right, and his memo has either the ordinances or the links to ordinances. Proposal?
Okay, because it would be nice to include examples of where they've ignored it in the past. Outside of Occupy.
Very tired.
25 days manifesto.
One quick thing to say, too, I'm sorry to put this up. Charlotte is doing similar things. They're actually putting out pass ordinances to keep people from sleeping in tents in public and from gathering in public in certain ways. So this needs to be nipped in the bud. I really do.
Before I restate my proposal, one more note on this. In practical terms, what having almost everything illegal means is not that everyone just has to sit inside like this all the time. What it means is that the police protocol is that officers get to enforce a lot of these ordinances at their discretion. So, for example, when Jill was making music up here, more quietly than the music at the bar, the police officer could come over and say, you have to stop that. And she has no recourse because the ways that the laws work, they're enforced according to the discretion of the individual officers, which basically, you could make an argument that that's what a police state is, where the individual whims of police officers are what determine what people can and can't do. Now, I'm also not in favor of us trying to get the perfect laws and then enforce them uniformly, because in all my travels, all my life, a situation in which that was, in which there was a world in which any society with that worked. But my proposal is very simple. It's just that you were volunteering for it to do that the working group take the statements that have been made about this thus far, the emergency GA statements, the press release that went out Saturday morning, Ron's letter, any other notes that we have about this, cobble it into some kind of draft that can go out over the listserv and come to Thursday night's GA with a version of this that can be fine-tuned and consensus upon, to be read by someone on Sunday.
Sounds more like the working group.
So, well, the proposal is that a working group create this document, that it be reviewed to be presented on Thursday, at which point we would consent on it and choose someone to read it. So it's a proposal that puts up deadlines and goals.
Cobble the other works on this issue, circulate at GA on Thursday, reconsents, read early on Sunday.
What are people doing at 1 o'clock tomorrow?
Studying.
At Johnny's.
Are you asking now who wants to do it, or are you saying, is this a proposal to get it off the ground?
First we consent on the proposal, then we volunteer for the rules. But we've got to first.
A question about the working group. Can we have the working group put it out, and then let's encourage people to send their versions in, and then we will have more to work with on Thursday.
What do you mean by putting it out?
Listserv.
I would suggest that document go out tonight, that Rob produces, that a group of people meet at Johnny's tomorrow to work together on all the stuff that Rob's gotten in, and that out of that it goes back to the listserv again. I know the listserv likes it when it comes back multiple times, and you're going to get a lot of different stuff over 24 hours. Do we have can we get a twinkly temperature check on the proposal? Okay, so okay. We have a proposal how to do that, Evan?
Well, I just wanted to ask if we could have the review of what everybody brings together as our visioning question for Thursday. So we just break up into small groups and go over it in small groups. I think that might be an effective way to come back with some good feedback on Thursday.
I hear you making a proposal that the document be the visioning question for Thursday.
Yes.
Okay. Can we get a temperature check? Can we get a vote? Any opposed? Okay.
Where's Johnny?
On Main Street in Carver, if you...
Across from the church, right?
Yeah, it's on the calendar. It's if you, instead of going down Hillsborough,
you go down Main Street, I think around Carver,
and
it's right across from the turn for High Street. So High Street and Main Street intersect, and Johnny's is right there on Main Street.
Johnny's Sporting Goods. You've never seen that? You've been living here for 30 years?
More than that.
This is where the working group is meeting?
Yes.
Is it near the spa thing?
What time?
It's down the street from the
I'll explain it to you.
What day?
I'll find it.
tomorrow.
Okay. In front of the store?
No, the store has coffee and stuff on the inside, so we can use the back of the store.
Johnny's Sporting Goods?
It used to be Sporting
No,
Goods.
okay.
It used to be Johnny's Sporting Goods.
If you are on Main Street, the town hall is here and the post office is there. It's between the town hall and the post office on that stretch of Main Street, Carver.
I think I know what
right across from High Street.
They have a deck in the back?
Yes. Yes. You're going to recognize it when you see it.
I've been there now, okay? I just need a point of reference, okay?
Point of process of it? Okay, so, what I would suggest is that people who feel like their comments may not have been made at the original emergency GA, I know I have one or two, should email those to Rob. Does that sound acceptable to you, Rob? And is there anything else about the press release that is also a speech that's being given on Sunday? Evan?
Media, can we get something on the website to let people know that we're drafting this, and if they haven't been paying attention to the listserv, that they should get on it? I don't know, would that be effective in reaching more people that are...
The website isn't really a good place to communicate with the members of OCH. It's basically better to do it through the listserv, because the website is basically to let people know what we're doing, and people that are not on our listserv, so they can go there and see what we're doing, just to keep it clean.
I would suggest as well that people call their friends who they know don't use email, or people who don't read the listserv. Like, I'm going to send out an email directly to Diane Nelson, who I know doesn't check the listserv very recently a lot, and Kathy Murray, who has been wanting to do outreach to churches. So we can outreach to one another individually. Anything else about the press release?
Ooh, bless you. Bless you.
I will ask if anyone can email me the media contact list so that I can continue with the letter. I'd appreciate it. Someone's dead, but I never received
What's
it.
your email address?
I'll write it down here so you have it.
I'm having this confusion about like where we would save these minutes and where we go.
Are you putting on the minutes?
Yeah.
His email address?
She can have it.
No, she's putting it in the minutes.
Anna McCobb.
She's putting his email address in the minutes.
Do you want your name in here? Angela's been trying to contact me for weeks now. RMAYSA 1982.
Do you realize you're sending your address over the internet? Is the question.
I know how to spell
Oh. Okay. Yes.
at yahoo.com. This is a way to get the Hollywood Babes to contact me.
Hollywood Babes, please contact me. I think it would be nice if we started with and took like maybe 10 minutes to talk about alternative Yates legal action. Unless we have more press release stuff, but I think moving on to that. Okay. Alternative Yates legal actions.
Clarifying that, please, for me, who's
Well,
not.
Jeff and Bert were bringing up points about it while we were working group report back.
Right.
We decided to move it to agenda item. Do we still want to discuss it, or would one of y'all like to start a discussion of it?
I just don't. I would like it to be clarified what it is.
Bert?
Excuse me, there was a lot of frustration, and still is, and anger about the fact that it looks like this has been referred to staff so that it will die, and that the Community Policing Advisory Committee will not have the resource that they've requested to do a proper investigation. In lieu of them being able to do that, I think there are a few things we can do, and I would suggest two. One is that we suggest that even if they don't get the money for an independent investigator, that they take the questions that they have come up with, which there's some really good ones about big holes in the manager's report, and also the comments from the public, and that they, as a group, attempt at, they're volunteers, but attempt to answer as many of those questions as they can, or fill in the holes. That's item number one. Item number two is, and it's been suggested on our listserv, that we have a public citizen's review, which I don't know what the process would be, but that it would involve people coming in and giving their version of what they saw and heard, and et cetera, and that would be determined to either validate or to show that there are erroneous statements in the town manager's review. And that can be done by a citizens group, totally volunteer, not associated with the town, totally independent. And then the other things are potential civil and criminal charges being filed in order to get a full judicial review of the incident. That's the way I see it.
We have 5 minutes. I don't think we're going to solve this.
I don't think we're going to solve it in
But
5 minutes.
I think the situation is this, taking both ends of it. First of all, in terms of legal steps, that's really going to be up to individuals. But it is definitely an option, but I think it's an option at the very end of the process. Going right into the other end of the process, the one thing that Occupy can continue to do is go to each and every one of these meetings, I wish I could too, and make sure that they, don't let them forget that in the middle there are a number of things going on. CPAB has submitted questions to the town council. The town council has said they will answer them. They will also say that next week they will vote on whether they have an independent investigator or not. I can't get into the minds of CPAB, but if they come back and say you can't have a very outside investigator, and here's the answer to your questions, which aren't really very complete, then CPAB are likely to turn around and say, well, we can't do what you've asked us to do, because we told you, we don't have the capability to do it. At that point, other people, Jim Neal and others are having conversations about pressuring CPAB possibly to recommend to the town council that they form this independent commission. If that doesn't wash, then there's suggestions that that commission will simply be set up anyway as a citizen's public review. And my take on it is that they issue invitations to all the people they want to have come and speak to it. You lot will happily come and speak to it. And if the town council and the town manager and the chief of police choose not to, then that's public exposure. They obviously they don't want to take part. But that can go ahead. There's lots of different things going on. But bearing in mind that it's 7:23.
And David and Ron are on the stack.
The one thing that Occupy can do at the moment is keep in touch with you and me and other people about what's going on and just turn up. There's things going on. And what you mentioned is certain other things that can happen.
I would like to just say, Candace, you're doing great with the minutes. And then, I don't know why you do that with your hair. And then David, and then Ron.
You just basically reiterated what Bert said, right?
Basically the only thing I said was the one thing Occupy can do is keep talking.
So, critique what?
Let's do it, don't worry.
David and then Ron.
Okay, because it sounded like almost the same. Sorry.
Don't worry.
So I think in the same vein as some of the comments that were made earlier with regards to the demo on Sunday about not asking the town to strike things, but taking what we can take in this space and having a demonstration, that if it becomes apparent that this is going to die because the attorney's convinced whatever reason that it is, and it's clear that there won't be an investigation or independent whatever, I think that there would be a lot of merit to having that and making that public and inviting press and putting that out there and showing people that this isn't that there's a group of people who are hiding, who are, keeping their story and who are waiting for an independent review to get set up so that they can come and lie. That there is whatever narrative that exists, and that there are clearly holes, and that given all of that, there should be some sort of presentation, and there's no reason why that has to come from them. There's no reason why we can't make that ourselves, and why we can't put that out there in an incredibly transparent and open way that further drives home the point that there is a cover-up going on. I mean, to the degree that we saw a 2-hour closed session, literally change the minds of people and result in an entirely different dialogue, and, to the point where people have openly criticized the manager for stifling, public comments from our public officials, and et cetera, et cetera. But I think that would serve us in a very powerful way.
Ron.
I don't have David's rhetorical skills. I hate to fall.
I can say something sexy in between.
Nevertheless, when I was at town hall this afternoon, and I spoke to Stansel's flunky, some guy named Jason, something or other, I mentioned to him that I had, in mid-November, requested a copy of the protocols of the Chapel Hill Police Department when it came to the use of force, specifically including but not limited to pepper gas, vis-a-vis nonviolent demonstrations. The response, and I've yet to receive a response on that. And he referred me to town minutes and the town manager's report as if I'm somehow omniscient, and I am, but only on certain days of the week. But he also mentioned that he had received, or the town had received, 45 requests of a similar nature. The demos are great, appearances of the town council are great, but there's also what I would like to think of as death by Mexican fire ant.
What?
A Mexican fire ant crawling up an elephant's snout. Let's please go to the Town of Chapel Hill website. Request information on this. Take their time. Get under their skin. Piss them off. And force them to go on record specifically to us about whether it's the use of pepper gas or the use of AK-15s or whatever. Let them respond to us. They are our employees. The government is not something that we receive something from. The government is something that we grant them certain privileges. They are our
servants.
They are our minions. And as a result, when we require, or if we want to be polite, request something from the government, it is their obligation to respond to us. End of speech on that. But I simply say, let's bombard them, if at all possible. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes with these questions, and make sure that they get the hell back to us on it. In addition to everything else that we've been doing.
Is this a proposal?
No, it's a suggestion.
It's a request.
I should probably leave that out.
What?
No, or no.
It's online. It's already out. It's not illegal to ask your government for information that they should have to give to you.
Okay. For me, the most important thing, just to keep our eyes on the prize, is that people don't get raided by police with assault weapons. Now, we can ask the government not to do that, but again, the greatest likelihood of stopping that from happening is going to come from us giving them an incentive not to do that. The investigation is one way to do that. Public outcry is a way to do that. If we get lost in a private dialogue with the town government, we will lose our greatest power, which is our connections to the rest of the town. I really like Bert's proposal because it's about engaging with the public. I liked what David said about building on that. And when we're strategizing, I feel like the thing that has to come out of this, above all, is more connections and more social momentum opposing police action. And we should be brainstorming and we should be planning according to what is going to create that most of all. So, a public investigation that comes out of our own organizing, public forums, ways of connecting with other communities that have also been targeted. I think those are the most promising ways forward. I'm not telling anybody not to engage with the town government, but let's be brainstorming, in terms of what's going to ultimately create means that are not under their control, by which we can discourage them from targeting.
Evan?
Yeah, there's going to be footage of this next town council meeting, and there have been of the ones that we've been to.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Is that like our footage or is that theirs?
It's theirs footage. It should be. It was up this morning.
Okay, am I going to get
from last night.
Under copyright law for using?
No.
It's public. Yeah.
We can't advise you on legal actions.
We can only illegally.
I can illegally tell you that it's okay.
I can illegally.
Well, I mean, it just seems like a documentary on this is being scripted right before this.
Any footage I have, you can use.
And then I'd like to get a temperature check on continuing the conversation, since we're not going to resolve it tonight.
Simply a quick response to what you have to say, Brian, which is that if they respond to us via email on these matters, it then becomes a matter of public record, and those comments can then be used in whatever context we wish.
Bert?
To me, this is a bigger issue, and I agree with Brian. I don't think they should be going after citizens with AR-15s, unless it's absolutely a terrorist situation where there are armed people and they have to. In my opinion, I've been here a long time. I have a lot of respect for the Chapel Hill Police. I've seen them do some really good things. But I want the message to start here in Chapel Hill, that our police in this country are being turned into anti-terrorist units when they're supposed to be protecting our rights here. And that we can reverse that. And we can do that by appealing to the town council and the citizens of this community to say, we are Americans, we're not Germans, we don't need the Department of Homeland Security sending tanks to our police force. And to me, that's the bottom line. And we don't need to solve this problem.
Okay, I'm going to say something and then we'll do a temperature check. There used to be a postcard at International back in the day, and it had a picture of two identical-looking little stick figures with clothes, and it said, "Can you tell the difference between a terrorist and a freedom fighter?" I kind of have an issue with the police trying to tell the difference between a terrorist and a freedom fighter. As long as there's necessity for activism, for social justice and economic justice and environmental justice, and as long as there is a police force that is protecting the status quo and the laws that are denying us social justice, economic justice, and environmental justice, there is going to be this ongoing struggle. So, one thing that concerns me is that the town council is starting to say we need to look at our laws around civil disobedience, and I know the people who are saying that are really well-meaning, like, let's come up with some laws about civil disobedience so people know how to civilly disobey in a way that we don't have to pull assault rifles on them. Right. That kind of makes it not civil disobedience. I mean, so I just want to say, this is a long-haul issue. That's not going to just be resolved around the Yates thing being resolved. So let's keep our eye on the long-term prize, which of course is complete justice for everyone, and not get super down on this. Temperature check on continuing the conversation.
We have a place to be.
That's why you need to twinkle down.
I mean, if somebody else wants to take over the notes, I invite them to.
Where are we with this?
Right here.
Way down.
That's why she's asking if we're finished. That's why she's saying we're finishing. Yes.
Friendly amendment to continue it at another GA.
Yes.
So anyone who wants to put it on another agenda, we can put it on the agenda at any time. And are there any quick announcements?
Let's bring it back to the
okay.
Don't forget to bring your craft stuff on Thursday.
And who's taking the board?
I'll take it.
Thank you.